Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Hi there, I'm Chris, a 22-year-old college student. I'm making this post today because I think I need to put an end to this nightmare. But I don't know how, so I'm here for your advice. Everything began after my dad, let's call him Jerry, 40 male, knocked up my mom, 38 female, 23 years ago. Here is what happened. Jerry and mom were high school mates. But Jerry was a year ahead of her. Jerry used to be a rich kid. Because he had money, he had his way with several girls on campus. And my mom just happened to be one of his victims. She thought he loved her until she told him about the pregnancy. Only then did he reveal his true colors. Jerry denied the pregnancy and told my mom to go look for the real dad because he wasn't responsible and there was no way he was going to let mommy ruin his bright future. After Jerry graduated, mommy later found out that he went to study abroad. Out of fear and frustration, mommy almost aborted me, but fortunately, grandma stood by her side in those heartbreaking moments. I can't narrate how I managed to survive the past years of my life. They were filled with pain, struggles, and hardship, but I am very grateful because grandma and mommy never left my side. I am currently in my second year of college. Now back to the main issue at hand. My dad showed up at our house 2 years ago. He claimed he was there to apologize for his actions towards mom and me. You might be wondering how we reacted to his presence. Mom told him she might consider accepting his apology when he paid back child support for all these years that he neglected his duty as a dad. The back child support was $200K, but surprisingly, he agreed to pay. Of course, he had something else up his sleeves. It wasn't long before he brought up the real reason behind his appearance in our lives. He called me just a month after he started paying the back child support, asking that I change my name. It is worth noting that I used my mom's name. Now there he was, suddenly asking me to change my name and use his. I immediately refused. He then threatened to stop paying the back child support. I told him that paying back child support does not make me obliged to change my name. The fact that we gave him a chance to make up for his past mistakes shouldn't cause him to push his luck. He said I was a bastard for talking back at him, that he wonders how my mom trained me all these years. With this statement of his, I told him my mom was way better and sensible than him, who abandoned me and just showed up in my life for selfish reasons. So I don't care why he was pressuring me to change my name, but I would never do that as long as I'm alive. After our quarrel, he just went missing from our lives again. He stopped paying the back child support as well. It's 2 years now and my dad showed up in my life again. He still came asking that I change my name, but I still refused. Only then did he tell me the truth. It turns out that he doesn't have any kids of his own. So he's desperate to show he has a kid so he could get his dad to include him in his will. He appeared again this time around because his dad is sick, and instead of being concerned about his health, he's worried he will be left out of the will if he doesn't patch things up with me. After his emotional story, I told him that I had experienced so much pain because of his neglect, so I didn't care whether it was $1 million will that he might lose. I added that I never want to set my eyes on him again. So, am I being too harsh for refusing to change my name and help my dad to be included in the will? Honestly, I have thought about the whole issue for a while now before making this post, and I still don't know why I should help him out. Moreover, it's not like he will let me inherit his will. Update. After my initial post, I have contemplated the entire issue, and I think it's about time to let Jerry have a taste of his own medicine. We decided to sue him for refusing to continue paying the back child support. But a few months ago, his dad's lawyer reached out to me. He invited mom and me over to his place. Grandpa apologized to us over Jerry's neglect all these years. He said my dad never made him aware of my existence. So, to make it up to me, he decided to include me in his will in place of my dad. In addition, he said he would see to it that my dad finished paying the back child support. He wants me to visit him more in the future. Thanks for your support and comments. They were my source of inspiration, enabling me to successfully put an end to this mess. I'm happy with the way things ended for you and your family, OP. I'm glad you got to meet your grandfather and he added you in his will in place of your dad. Your dad is a horrible, terrible person. He's not a good dad or a good son. His father wasn't dead yet, and he was already making plans on how to not be left out of his will. He came to you after abandoning you for years because of his will. The only thing he's committed to is money. I would advise you to file a restraining order against him, because I don't think he will be very pleased to hear about you taking his place in the will. Story 2. This couple I'm not very close with, but the wife is a long-time family friend, so I felt that I should invite her. To be clear, all of my invitations stated that there were to be no children at this wedding. But she and her husband showed up with their infant and toddler, who I think is like 3 or 4. At the actual wedding ceremony, I let it slide. I was preoccupied for obvious reasons. I also thought that maybe they planned not to attend the reception or to have someone pick the kids up before it started. My niece, who was our flower girl, and a few other kids who had to be at the wedding for one reason or another, were getting picked up or dropped off after the ceremony ended. Anyway, the reception rolls around. I'm fast-forwarding through irrelevant details about the wedding. But it was beautiful and everything went as smoothly as could be expected. The couple comes and, lo and behold, they still have their children. I had many other guests and didn't really feel like dealing with it, so I asked our event planner to go over to them and discuss whether someone was picking up the child at the reception and wedding. Frankly, we're not supposed to have children. I mean, everyone was drinking and loud and rowdy, and a crying child and another little one running around was not part of the plan. The infant already had to be taken out once during the wedding ceremony because of fussiness, and the toddler was, from what I could see, already appearing cranky. My event planner went to talk to the couple. I could tell they were arguing with my event planner, so I went over to help him. I think they thought I came to rescue them because they started going on about how rude my event planner was. I explained that I had actually sent him over to discuss the children. I reiterated that the event was child-free and said that I had stated so clearly on my invitations. The wife gave a sort of apology and then reassured me that they were capable of minding their own children to make sure they didn't get in the way of anything. I said that wasn't really the point. That's when my now husband comes over and he and the other woman's husband begin going back and forth and things get a little heated. Finally, I snapped and said that they needed to just go, which thankfully they did without much more noise. Still, the whole scene was incredibly embarrassing, which is exactly what I wanted to avoid. I really hate that my wedding day had to be somewhat marred by this incident. According to my mother, everyone was talking about it, and I guess enjoying a little dramatic entertainment. Was I the a-hole for making them leave? Edit. What I've gotten from this is that most people think that the couple was rude. There are also a select few who feel that it's a-hole-ish to have a kid-free wedding at all, which is interesting. By way of an update, I have now learned that a few family members felt that it was inappropriate of me to kick out the couple. The wife apparently is still angry about being kicked out, and the husband is falsely telling people that we threatened to call the cops on them. No one has said anything directly to me though. Anyway, the feedback here has helped me not to feel guilty about that and just realize that not everyone has the same ideas about tact and manners. Well, apparently, this went somewhat viral and has now been in articles in Fox News, Daily Mail and Yahoo News. Many thanks to those in the comments who let me know. I had used a throwaway account to stay anonymous and low-key, but I guess that's out the window, lol. No point in deleting now, so whoever sees it sees it. Not the a-hole OP. You and your husband, and maybe even your family, go through all that time, effort and money setting up the wedding and reception. You're allowed to set the rules and enforce them. Guests should respect that. They shouldn't have brought their children the moment they had the thought, it won't be a big deal, I can handle my kids. They should have cleared it with you first and then accepted that kids aren't allowed because you would have probably reiterated it to them anyway. They ignored the rules and then made a scene when they were asked to resolve the issue. They're the a-holes, not you. Now for some comments. Totally not the a-hole. People don't seem to understand etiquette anymore. My neighbor recently got married. She knows our children really well, and her daughter loves our entire family and spends ton of time at our house. The invitation did not say anything about children, but it was addressed only to me and my wife, so the children stayed home. If she wanted them at the wedding and reception, she would have put their names on the invitation. I can't even imagine blatantly ignoring a statement making this absolutely clear. Not the a-hole, the inconsiderate couple who thought they were somehow excluded from the child-free part of the invitation are a-holes. What goes through the heads of people like that? Well, it says no kids, but that couldn't possibly mean us, because everyone loves their noise-making bundle of smells, am I right? They probably had those kids dressed to the nines too. If they couldn't get a sitter, they should have excluded themselves. A family friend you felt obligated to invite isn't someone that would have been missed on your big day. Then to go as far as to argue with the groom, the arrogance of some people never ceased to astound me. Good for you for giving them the boot and not letting their shitty actions put a damper on your big day. Definitely not the a-hole. They are. Not the a-hole. You said it in your invitation. It shouldn't be difficult for people. They don't get to decide what happens on your wedding day. It also sounds like you have some gossipy-ass family and friends. If that was the talk around your wedding, rather than you guys getting married, you're not the a-hole for making them leave or for not wanting kids there. You didn't do anything wrong at all. They were disrespectful, entitled a-holes. We can take care of our kids. Well, bish, obviously effing not. They clearly didn't give a shit about your request, so F them. Don't even feel bad about asking or even telling them to leave from an event they showed up to, breaking the rules for lack of better terms. Story 3. My 27 males friend, who's a TikToker and con artist, Jana 26 female. The friend was recording, Leela. This situation happened a few weeks ago, by the way. Jana is a successful TikTok and kind of a con artist. She pretends to give readings to get free stuff or services. She did it many times, but most of them failed. Leela helps her by recording some of them for TikTok. So anyway, we were getting some groceries until Jana decided to trick the cash register. She got access to some of the public information about her and planned for this a few days ago. She never told me about her secrets until she was about to do it in front of me. The secrets were mixed with magic and shit. By the way, it gave me a clue, and I understood what she actually did in reality. She offered to give her a reading if she gives her some free stuff. She gave her a reading and used her grief, which broke the woman down. She believed it, and in the end, she gave her free stuff. I felt sad for her, so after we got out, I grabbed the free stuff from my friend's hand and handed them to the register lady, and apologized on behalf of her. I told her that it was just a trick. We made a bit of a fuss, but in the end, I got the stolen stuff back and told her the truth. Jana was furious. She got so mad at me so much that she cut me off for weeks until today. Today, she told me that she's still very angry and she's waiting for my apology. Her arguments were that it was none of my business, that I'm her friend, so I should support her, and that I don't really know if she wasn't an actual psychic, and that it was a deal between the register and her. But I disagree. She isn't a psychic. Her reading was complete bullshit and I shouldn't encourage tricking people. Leela says that I acted out as a huge a-hole and she doesn't talk to me anymore. Am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. What your friend is doing is essentially fraud. You were right to do what you did. Your friend is lucky that she isn't more successful at her fraud. Otherwise, she is likely to get herself and potentially you into trouble. Seriously, do you even want forgiveness from this person? Not the a-hole. Your friend purposely targeted a vulnerable person's grief to exploit it for her personal gain. They have a term for people who target vulnerable people, predators. Good on you for shutting that down, not the a-hole. Your friends sound like sociopaths. I hope you find better ones. In the meantime, out her early and often. Take care, OP. Not the a-hole. You did the right thing, OP. Don't back down. Don't apologize. And make sure any mutual friends you've got apart from Leela knows what actually went down. Before Jana starts spreading rumors about you that twist what happened and start causing drama later on. Conning people is shitty. Conning people by manipulating them by using their grief is despicable. Just totally morally bankrupt. She's got a fan base on TikTok. You were so kind to her. So kind, and she doesn't even realize it. If I saw a friend conning some poor person by playing into their grief, I would put her on blast on every single one of the social media accounts I knew about.